It's Saturday, September 17th, 2022. I just woke up a little bit ago. It's not late night, but the sun has set. Um, yeah, I already said that. But the sun is set. It's completely dark out. Um, I slept well today. Nothing from the day really bothered me too much. There were people out mowing their lawns and trimming and grass blowing. Leaves haven't even fallen yet, but people still find reason to bring out more and more powered, loud equipment to find excuse to be outside doing stuff, I guess. I don't know. To maintain the illusion of normality and spread propaganda of what property should look like for society to not crumble into dust and all civilization to disappear. Yeah, these things that people work on. I do think about the different theories and shows and about what if humans disappeared? Just poof, no explanation, no bodies even, or even with bodies. How quickly nature just takes everything back. At the 1 year mark, the 10 year mark, the 100 year mark, the 1,000 year mark, the erasure of human society and signs of us having even been here. There's like 8 billion of us now, and we've created this apocryphal scenario. And but no matter how great we think we are as a species, it can all just be wiped away. Our entire existence, everything we think we've accomplished, everything we think we've achieved, all realizations and studies and scientific investigations and conceptualizations about reality this, reality that, time, space. Just poof, just gone. It's scary, but real. And a single, planet killer could do it, or we could do it. It's only a matter of time. It's not an if, but a when, as far as the planet killer is concerned. Humans have a choice, though. That's kind of the cool thing. I heard the thought that I didn't come up with it, but it is a good thought, and I understand it. There's a movie with Charlie Sheen called The Arrival from like 1999, and it's about aliens that have secretly come to Earth and begun to terraform it by making the climate more suitable for them. And humans don't really notice and don't do anything because it's so subtle and it's so secret. But it's making the environment less habitable for people and creatures that have evolved for this biosphere, terrasphere. Um, and its aliens are just they're just patient. They're just gonna wait. So, but yeah. So the thought is that if what is happening on our planet in real life, if we all of a sudden found out that it was aliens doing it, then we would be fixing it, or we would be figuring out ways to combat it and change it and not let it happen. Because no one messes with our planet. But if it's us doing it, oh well, it's not real. No, well we're just not that. No, we'll get to it next generation. Next generation will get it. We don't want to do it. We like how we live, our luxury and what we take for granted. Yeah, we like it the way it is. Don't bother us. Don't tell us the truth. We don't like the truth. Don't ask us to do stuff. Don't ask us to change. Change is scary. It is scary, but it's also like necessary. Without change, we die. Is one thing. So, the purpose of this recording, and I've stalled long enough, is I just woke up and I saw what I saw, and of course, I immediately think, because I think that about, I can't help it. I guess Because if I were just to look at anybody else's, it's like I could, it's like, but I don't have any history. I don't have any uh, sense of conversation or sense of correspondence. So I go to this person, and it's like I feel, maybe incorrectly, maybe undeservedly, maybe unwantingly, maybe all that stuff that I tell myself also. My doubts, my hesitation, my disbelief. Um, but the other part of me is like, well, that's for me, or that's about me, or that's to me, or something. And the purpose of this video is to see if I can see it, if I can hear it. Um, how do I think about that? What do I think about that? How do I feel about how I think? And how do I think about how I feel? And for me, it's like, oh, I just know that I feel okay. I don't know how I feel about that. But, and I always keep the addendum. It's like, I might not be right, but I cannot be wrong. I might be misreading reality, misperceiving a person. And they might be referring to this or referring to that. Or I missed the context here. Or there's a history of that, or a cultural allegory, or metaphor, or symbol. But I've been following along for a while now. So it's like I think I understand some things, not all of it. I never will. How well can you ever know a person? And the same goes back to me. It's like I don't know. It's like like I say, I haven't said in a while, but I do go places, and I don't know where they are, and I just come back and I read it, and it's like, okay, that looks like something I would write. Yeah, where did that come from? It's like, okay, well, I remember that, and then I read it's all together, and it's like, wow. At least I think it's interesting. I don't know about anybody else. It might just look like ravings and ramblings of a lunatic. And I've also said, that the madness remains contained within domains. So, I'm doing my best. And remember, this is all unrehearsed and improvised. So it's like there is no script that I'm just going. That's how I write too. I just sit down and dump material onto the keyboard. And sometimes it takes me only an hour, and sometimes I can just sit there and look at the words, look at the keyboard, look at the screen for, time passes. And at least here, it's like, oh, there's a timer, and I can see it, and I can like, oh, okay, I'm this far in. So, because I had back to this person and the nature of the relationship. It's like I had recently, within the last, since August, changed my official, relationship status from in a relationship of some emotional, intellectual, and affectionate status, as I called it, and felt it, and could not be corrected because it was actually totally, and still is, accurate. But as far as Facebook was concerned, I was just like, well, I'll just put myself back to single. That way I don't want to mislead or be falsely representing myself, because I don't even, I'm talking about it. It's like, so I just wanted to make it like my position. It's like, I don't even know. And so it's like, it's just better for me for when talking to myself, so I don't fall into some other expectation of something that isn't actually real, because I don't want to fall for any of my own illusions. I dispel my own illusions and fantasies or fictions, things like that. So I always put myself to single, because I cannot corroborate, and there isn't enough. I can't look at anything and just like, oh, that's addressed to me. That's for me. That's about me. And it's like there's just too many contrariness, and because she's talking about other people, and she's had a whole history, and just things have happened, and she has to address those. and those crop up, and because not everything's about me. Well, I know that, and that's okay. I mean, obviously, and I just, it's like I don't understand it, and it's like, okay, it just is. It's not about me. It's not for me. It's not to me. I'm the one that has I don't know if it's a stranger history. It's just different, you know. Alcoholically induced coma, for a living coma, kind of The Walking Dead for a number of years. A few too many, I think, but exactly as many as what I needed to learn that that's not the kind of death or life that I want. I'd rather be a living ghost than a walking dead. And I've recovered, I think, pretty good. I think. A lot of people would agree with that, except I'm not the person that they want me to be for them. Here's the thing about that. Dang it. And they liked me better before they found out, or before I found out that I was autistic and all this other stuff, and that how I actually am is okay. And that recovery doesn't like that because they want to continue to, no, you're not okay. You need help. You're sick. You're very sick. You need to be socialized and go out and do things. And if you're not doing them, you're going to go back and do the things you used to do. Spooky, spooky. And it's like, no, actually, forcing myself to socialize and do things that I don't want to do and be stressed out, overwhelmed, that's causing me great problems. And I have emotional shutdowns, and I retreat for a long time. I've had meltdowns in public, and that's not the sign of a healthy person in a mentally secure and safe environment, I don't think. I feel much better about myself and the world the less interaction I have with it, and the less exposed I am to it, because people have not changed. I'm changed. I'm changing. But the world on the whole, except for the people that I've had contact with and have kind of learned my boundaries, they just continue to, just see whatever it is they see and treat me however it is I physically appear. It's like, hey, he looks normal. Well, treat him normal. Oh, he's not acting normal. Oh, something must be wrong with him. No, nothing's wrong with me. It's just the way I am. And yeah. So, anyway, tangents, parallels. So again, back to this person, what they wrote today or tonight, or maybe it could have been any time. And tonight was just when I saw it and they posted it. Because the other previous post had mentioned that they were getting ready for a marathon and a wedding. And for a split second, my heart sank. I was like, oh, wedding? What wedding? This is the first I've ever heard of a wedding. Of course, I remember in a hashtag a while ago it said something about who gets married in October, or who gets married on Halloween. And then the wheels started turning, and I was like, wedding. Well, people go to weddings. It doesn't mean it's their wedding. And I read it again, and I was like, she didn't say anything about personal or my. It's just a wedding. She's going to a wedding. Okay. Yeah, people do that all the time. People have weddings. People go to them. It doesn't mean anything. Except for when that weddings are where people meet people. A lot of times. Because it puts people in that frame of mind. Well, especially if they're single. So at least that's what I have been told, or what I've gathered from how I think people do things. Doesn't mean it's true, but I've seen it in TV and movies and probably in books, I guess, that people who attend weddings are thinking about themselves and thinking, in the context of, it's like, if they're not married, maybe thinking about getting married or looking for a partner to, establish a relationship or communication or connection with, and maybe they'll have a wedding someday. So it's like, a wedding vibe or marriage mood or relationship, whatever. And so I saw that, and my heart sank. But then I talked or thought myself through it, and it's like, no, no, no. It's probably a friend or a family member or a loved one of some variety. And yeah, and so I resolved, because I wanted to say, like, comment like, who or where or when, you playing a role in the bridal party, or but I didn't. I just acknowledged that I saw it. That's what it doesn't mean I like it. It doesn't mean I don't unlike it. It doesn't mean I understand it. I just saw it. That's what my little comments mean. It's like, I don't understand it, but I'll say, yep, I was here. I saw that. Have fun. Then it's like, just leave it alone. It's like, don't say anything. If it was meant for me to know, then I would know. That's a lot of my approach to these types of matters, for better or for worse. Sometimes I think it's for worse, because my failure to recognize when I'm supposed to be asking questions and I don't looks like I'm not interested. And then when I decide that I do want to ask questions, then I'm being rude, because it's not any of my business. So it's like, damned if I'm do, damned if I don't. As far as like looking for clarification or elaboration on something that I really don't know. I'm not asking because I'm trying to be stubborn or, mean or whatever. I don't know what people think. I'm asking because I don't know. I really don't. And people think that anybody that's like looks like me should know, and I'm just being deliberately ornery or whatever for pretending. It's like, no, I really don't. Please help me and answer the question. Why are you being so mean? So, so I don't know if I'm really explaining anything really well, or saying anything coherently. But it had gotten to a point, the relationship status, where it's like, yeah, it's still some emotion there, intellectual, still writing, keeping things polite, keeping things civil, keeping things above board, publicly fit for public viewing, nothing too private, and trying to keep it any history or personal knowledge, or just keeping that private. Though I don't know, I can reveal stuff about myself, I guess, but I mostly just I don't know. I talk how I talk. But on my side of things, I stopped talking about her. Just because it led to too many questions, and it just kind of is like, well, it's an unconventional, unorthodox belief or relationship, and I can't explain it. Not well enough for anybody else. I just mentioned that there's this person that I write to and think highly of. And then they start to ask questions, and it's just like, well, they're uncomfortable questions, and I don't like them, so I just stopped talking about her. Because I don't know for myself, and the fact that I don't know puts an even, sketchier, like, light on the nature of the relationship as far as other people are concerned. It's like, are you sure she's real? And it's like, well, actually, I have to work on that. So it's like, even there are those that are closer to me that heard me talk about it for a while, like last year, and they told me their suggestion was I need to just detach and leave it alone and just leave her alone. Because it's just, I don't know, as I was upset at the time, and they didn't like to see me upset. So they thought, since I don't have the ability to correspond the way I need to correspond and talk the way I need to talk, that I should focus on somebody closer, someone here, which I didn't take their advice or a suggestion. I just put it on the list of, and it's only been in the past month since I put myself to single that I've started just kind of, reevaluate, reassess my situation. And it's like, well, I'm just free as I ever was. But yeah, I can just stay by myself. I understand being by myself. I don't really have a problem with it. I understand my own world and my own sets of obstacles and difficulties. And I also understand my own sets of solutions and lifestyle. And I can afford my problems. I can afford my solutions. Very simple. Doesn't require much extra energy expenditure on my part or anyone else's part. Now, change, on the other hand, that would require, well, communication for one thing. I'm sorry, it would. But, and correspondence. Cryptic messages left in this, between the spaces of days. Just that's not a way for me to transmit directions on what is going on, and what do you want to go on in the near future or long future, far future. So these are things that I need to know or want to know. I think that's fair. I would think. Isn't that? I don't know. I don't have any frame of reference for what from now until whenever. It's all uncharted to me. I don't know how things are supposed to go, what normal is. I don't know what normal is. How nothing will ever be normal. Because it'll be how it'll be, but it won't be normal, and it'll just be a lot of adjustments. For me, for them, I don't know. What is going on? So I am just kind of baffled and stupefied, and I guess the previous line of thought was that I just moved to keeping her secret. I didn't talk about her, didn't bring up her name to anybody. A few people, just a very few, like 2 or 3, have ever even heard me mention her and anything about it. This whole 2 years now of writing, almost, from just the scratches at the very bare beginning of little hellos to the writing that goes on now, which is strange, and the correspondence is strange, and I don't even know what of mine actually gets seen, or it might all get seen for all I know. Not this, which is good, but all the writing, that might all get seen, and I just don't know it. And because that gives her a little bit of insight and leverage into me that I don't that she gets to see without ever having to acknowledge that she saw it, so she doesn't have to take responsibility for whatever it is that she takes away from it. Whereas if she let me know that she saw it, then I would begin to think, oh, well, she understands. And then she would be kind of burdened with the expectation of understanding whatever it is I wrote. And whatever it is I wrote a lot of times is not really, it is what it is. But I wouldn't want to place the burden of comprehension on somebody else for understanding it all. Because I understand it, kind of. Because I have the whole context of everything. I have the narrative. No one else has the narrative. So I've got my filter of being the person that wrote it, and I still don't know. So it's like anybody else is like, yeah, you're all right. Don't worry about it. It's if it evoked an emotion or an image, that's that's the best that I could hope for. But actually understanding how it relates directly into future timelines and current timelines, that it's like the same thing with their work. I don't understand how their stuff is about current or past or future timelines. But it does put out, it is a stone in the water and creates ripples. So, anyway. And I did go for a run today. It was a running day. And I did it was a grueling 77. I didn't get out until the sun was already pretty high in the sky, and it was just draining me. And there was a lot of people out today. It was a football game day. So it was just a lot of people out, and I just ran past them. You know, hundreds of people, thousands, and I just run past everybody. Run through them, weaving. I try to take the path of least density. And usually I would just run all the way around, but I was just like, no, they're in my way. This is the way I go. I'm not changing my course. Not this time. Not today. I feel okay. I'm okay being seen enough to go through them, and I just don't make eye contact. Just go and just try to get through as quickly as possible to get to the other side. And then I don't create a memory. Just they won't notice. They won't see. They won't remember. So that's what I did. It was a good run. I finished it. I thought about stopping early to walk, but I was like, no, I'll just go. Because no one will know if I actually, but I will. So, more miles for the count. And then I slept really well today, like I've already said. And then I saw that message, which was just a thought, a dream, an image, a token, a representation of a yearning for change. But was it to me? Was it about me? Was it for me? Or was it just a symbol, a reflection, a dream, incarnate for somebody else? But I'm the one that's here. I'm the one that saw it. I'm the one that's been writing. And I know that doesn't mean, I don't know what that means. But I am the one that saw, and I am the one that wrote. And I also thought that she probably doesn't want to have to train a new one. And it's like, the same's for me, it's like getting to know people's tough, and getting to meet people is even tougher. I mean, I think we're in the same boat, just really close. But I think we are basically, I've told we are basically kind of the same person, I think, and how we deal with things. I don't know. We've never talked. We'll probably hate each other. That's my other thought. Is like we're probably too similar, and we're each very independent and how we do things, and it's like she would be aghast probably at the way I live, and I would probably be mystified by the way she does things. And it's like it would be a horror show, wouldn't it? Or is it comedy? I don't know, but it would require a lot of change and adaptation, compromise, concession, understanding, compassion, but a lot of adaptation. Being flexible, versatile, innovative, inventive. And these things I apparently am pretty good at, but I don't like it, because I like to be lazy. I like to not do stuff. I like to just have a routine and stick to that routine. It's not lazy, I guess. No, that's the wrong word. I like to be able to float through my day without having to worry over making a lot of decisions and getting into that decision fatigue scenario where I have to constantly be thinking about, is this right, is this wrong, what does this look like, what do people think about this? You know, whereas if I'm just doing my normal, then there's less room for self-deprecation and self-destruction and self-mutilation, basically, where I destroy myself over the minutia of my behavior. Where if I'm just doing my usual, and it's like, I'm just doing my usual, don't attack me. This is normal to me. Anybody, ask anybody, this is normal. My not talking is normal to me. So, if you have a problem with it, talk to other people. They'll fill you in on how Eric is. Leave Eric alone. He's in his zone. Leave him in his zone. We are safe if Eric is in his zone. And I am safe if I am in my zone. But life isn't about safety. Life isn't always about security and all that stuff. So life can be about adventure and living and life and sharing and making an impact. So life can be better. It can be whatever we choose. It can even be about we. Imagine that. So, I don't know. I wanted to see if I could see anything. I don't know if I have. I think I saw a glimmer there for a second. But I still have a lingering, lasting disbelief in the whole scenario. Just because, the way I am. And the way life has been around me and the things, prior histories, which, current should never, but there is a trend for me misperceiving all of reality and just being caught off guard. And it's like, so that's what all that was about. Oh, well, okay. No, I'm fine. Well, okay. And then I just go away. Sort of scenario. I hate those. I don't, but So we'll see what happens. I'm just going to, continue to do what I do, wait for further instructions, be present, be accountable, be available, and see what happens. So I got work in the morning, so I'll probably go get a snack or something and go lie down until it's time to go to work or whatever. So I'm going to let this run for just a couple more seconds, since we're already at this time.